Dave, we should probably record something that's usable.
We've been recording. I mean, usable is the problem.
Usable is always the problem. Rhyme or free, it doesn't matter to me. It's my bad poetry. Good day, and welcome to My Bad Poetry, a podcast where we take a deep dive into our poems from youth, yesteryear, or even yesterday, always asking the question, why in the world did I write this? I'm Aaron.
And I'm Dave.
Together this week, we are looking at Season 3 as a whole. We have finished up Analogy of Life, the typed anthology of a high school Aaron. And I guess we have thoughts.
It's been a thing.
So, Dave, sorry, as always.
Yeah. Better be.
But you, in all your wisdom, have been contributing a new poem at the beginning of each and every one of our episodes. And I hear just from a minute ago when you told me that you did indeed bring one. Okay.
I did. For better or for worse, I wrote a poem. And I think it's something that is reasonable advice for everyone. Mediocrity is not something of which to be ashamed. Minor achievements are great, even when unfamed. Work towards the better, not perfect letter for letter. Do your best, and you cannot be blamed.
Oh, that was cute.
It's very adorable, and I keep talking with my wife about how I need to improve my own self-talk. How, I talk to myself and the way I describe everything that I do. And it's like, no, I think aiming for mediocrity is great.
Okay, so, sorry. Is this poem justifying your current state of being? Or is this an improvement on your self-talk?
Oh, this is an improvement on my self-talk.
Okay, got it.
Me aiming for mediocrity or saying, oh, that was okay. That is I would say 1,000-fold improvement, but 1,000 times 0 is still 0.
Okay. So this poem, knowing you and your self-talk, I agree.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's good of you, Dave. Yeah. It's a little cheesy, but I think it's a message that's worth repeating. And it kind of reminds me of almost my parents' philosophy of they wouldn't give you overwhelming compliments if it wasn't that good. I mean, you would get it was fine, or, oh no, that was fun. But in some ways I appreciate that.
There's a level of honesty that you can expect.
Yeah, rather than being wait, it wasn't your favorite thing ever? The third performance of our high school musical that you came to did not blow your socks off?
Oh, yeah.
But that was fun.
I think that's a healthy attitude to try and bring to the world.
Yeah.
That's also very honest about our show.
Oh, yes.
Just mediocrity.
Mediocrity
from us.
At its
our
finest.
Our guests are phenomenal, but us, very mediocre.
Yes, maybe.
We're shooting for mediocrity.
We rise to the occasion of mediocrity.
I'm imagining Aragorn on his horse giving an inspiring speech and us going, yeah, maybe we can try. we might do something, but I don't know.
To carry your optimism, your realistic optimism into our discussion of season 3.
Yes.
Did Analogy of Life, the work of a high schooler, rise to mediocrity in your eyes?
This is the kind way of saying good or garbage, isn't it? As a whole, I would say for a high school student, you were exploring things that a lot of people were, and though your attitudes were not the healthiest, you had some ideas. I'll give you that.
To bring us full circle to the first words of this anthology when I gave the advice of always shoot for the stars, because even if you fail, you might at least have made it past the clouds. I hear you saying that we touched a cloud.
I would say we got above the fog, which is technically a cloud.
I would agree with you there.
We didn't reach the actual clouds, but we got above the fog.
We got there. We got
something. That's an achievement.
Well, so other events of season 3. We had a fun season. It's a shorter one, and we potentially will have some that trickle out after this.
No.
Other highlight, we had the Blue Mountain Review article come out.
Yeah.
So if you want to find that, it's free online. That was fun.
That was very cool. I still can't believe that that Clifford allowed us to do that.
Yeah. Yeah. People got to see our faces. And
sorry about that.
Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, learn a little bit more about us, whether you wanted to or not. It was a cool experience. And just to be in a magazine with the other people who were interviewed and featured is an honor. Mm-hmm. We switched over our main website to Podpage.
I knew that. No. What?
It's way better.
You made a different website?
Yeah. So much better than the WordPress that I slapped together. Podpage is actually made for podcasts. It automatically draws in the episodes, and you can categorize different episodes by themes. So we have a featured guest category, we have a bloopers category, we have the Silence Saga. So really,
that's hilarious. I did not know. I have the WordPress one bookmarked, but I don't go there ever.
Yeah, and no one should. I still have the WordPress one available because I have transcripts from the first 10 episodes up there and pictures from the journal. And Podpage, unless you upgrade to Pro, won't let you do transcripts or photos. Sure. So while it's slimmed down in some aspects, it is so much slicker and it looks a lot more professional. I've really enjoyed working on Podpage, but
I've also really enjoyed it. It's so nice. It's good.
The other event of the season was our interactions with the press Roi Fainéant, which we still don't know how to pronounce. We had Francis on. And we joked so much about how we don't know how to pronounce that name and how it was a curse to say it because the recording was not working at the beginning of the episode.
Right.
A tweet about that became our most viral tweet ever, as the Roi Fainéant.
3 people liked it.
A lot, yeah. Those 3 people went hard in the comments, but it's, the Roi Fainéant fandom and staff got a kick out of the fact that no one knows how to pronounce it. And one of the people interacting actually sent us a clip of his silly pronunciation of this press. So yes. Dave, I'm gonna play that for you now. So this is Jay Parr's submission of his silly pronunciation. He is not a staffer. He just hangs around with them, and they occasionally do not reject his submissions.
The name of the press is Roi Fainéant.
Nailed it.
I think that is the for sure. I love how there's an L that comes in at the end.
Right, yeah.
Fainéant.
I think the best part is that's probably closer than what I've been saying anyway. I'm so bad at pronunciation that it's just like I don't know.
Again, thanks for that. That was hilarious. And if anyone else wants to throw their attempts at us, we'll give it a listen.
Yeah. Did one of us have a poem published during season 3? Aaron?
Dave, you didn't tell me.
You're a jerk. Did you have a poem published?
Yes, I did. Yeah, I had 2. And it was through said press of Roi Fainéant. Yeah, no, they accepted 2
Let me
poems.
guess. Okay. Was it Love 2?
You know, it was Love 4.5. Love 2 didn't hit their standards. No, it was it was 2 that I've written within the last year and a half or so. If you want to check out poetry that I don't think is necessarily bad, you can find
Wait,
it.
did you come up with the pen name?
I did.
You did?
Well, I mean, I'm published under Aaron GH.
Okay.
So it's not AG Home like my
Right.
original high school
Right.
self. I think this is far less pretentious, and then I'm not like making up a last name and
Sure, that's less pretentious. Yep. Sure. You can go ahead and believe that.
A question that I've heard about podcasts is if you were to suggest, now this is an if, Dave, I understand you never do, but if for some crazy reason you were to suggest this show to another human being, what episode would you tell them to start with?
Yes. I have recommended this podcast to no, I had a really good conversation with one of my brothers about faith.
Okay.
We were having a real good conversation, and I made comments about how season 1 we had a lot of like conversations around certainty and all of those things, and I enjoyed those conversations. The poems, they were bad, but the conversations that they inspired I thought were really good. I also thought it was funny because he is one that I have gotten to listen, or I have gotten him to read some Jasper Ford books.
Sure, yeah.
And he's like, "Oh, I should listen to your episode where you interview Jasper Ford." And I'm like, it's not actually that great of an episode because it's basically just me and Aaron going, "Oh my gosh, we love this in your book." Like, so like, did you intentionally do these things? Yeah, of course I intentionally did these things. Oh my gosh, we knew it.
Genius.
It's just us fangirling.
Yeah,
real weird.
It's like 50 minutes of pure bliss for us and maybe no one else. But I agree. Yeah, I think. Okay, so within those faith conversations, I'm trying to remember back. We had and
Truth, I think, was one that I suggested to him.
that was our first one. I never suggest truth because the sound editing drives me nuts.
Oh, yeah.
I didn't know what I was doing, but
Didn't implies that you currently do.
that's true, Dave. I'll give you that. Yes.
No, I know. I just recommended it because I enjoyed the conversation that we got to have around like certainty, and the conversation
he
and I were having was like, how do you know anything?
Sure.
And I'm a person who really loves reason and logic and evidence. And then I am a pastor, which is like not a lot of reason or evidence.
That's actually the topic of my sermon this week.
Yeah, me too.
Yes.
Oh, this is why we're buddies.
The foolishness of the cross. Anyway. Yeah.
But I think those are good conversations, and I also like that we also dove into some toxic masculinity and that kind of thing. That
yeah. If I were restricted to season 1 and kind of the main thrust and theme of the show, where it's us talking about bad poetry that I wrote in high school, I typically go to like rage or obsession. Sure. I think by that point within the conversation, but within our project, we had hit a nice groove.
Yeah, we had kind of found something.
The editing's
found our voice a little more.
Yeah, the editing's a little better. The topics get a little deeper. I do. I think that first 4 episode arc of faith conversations. But honestly, if I tell people about this show, if anyone asks about the show, I typically suggest starting with our guests.
Yes,
because
right. The people who make us more interesting.
Yeah, the guest episodes, the featured guests category on the pod page. It's a different show. It's a different show,
yeah.
But it's part of the show that I'm probably most proud of.
Yeah, it's fundamentally better.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. So Kelly Russell Agadon was our first guest, and it just went on from there. Yeah.
I mean, that I think still blows me away that we've gotten to talk to some of these amazing poets who, like, I had never heard of them, not like because I don't know poetry.
Yeah.
So I got to learn from people who are really just doing the work of expressing those ineffable truths. It's really cool.
Yeah. 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 Poetry really does. I mean, just this project in general, from our first conversations that you alluded to about like reason and the black and white nature of a lot of things we think about, poetry really does just kind of open the door for so much beautiful ambiguity.
Right?
Yeah. I got nothing else, Dave.
I got nothing else.
Awesome. I don't know what I'll piece together here. I say this every time, and then we always break 20 minutes. But this might be a short one. But if you want to chime in, you, our dear listeners, if you want to chime in and let us know what episode you would suggest to a friend, we'd love to hear it. Honestly,
let us know on Twitter, or on our Facebook page, or on our Mastodon.
We don't have Facebook. We do have
subreddit.
Mastodon.
We have Mastodon.
Yeah, we've had Mastodon for a couple months now.
That's very funny to me because that has been a joke in my life of like, yeah, I'm gonna go on Mastodon, and by that I mean I'm gonna go and ride a Mastodon.
No, you can toot on Mastodon.
They're
toots on Mastodon. Yeah, they are.
Okay, I'm on board.
Yeah.
Let's go.
We have it. I try and check it daily. It's, I mean, the great exodus that wasn't of Twitter just never really happened. But our Mastodon is mastodon.social/@mybadpoetry. Yeah. So there you go. Well, Dave, we should end.
Yeah.
This week.
Yes, we should.
I don't have a poem for us.
I got one. There once was a man from Nantucket. Come on!
We've talked about this day.
Home is behind.
Should I? Ooh.
The world ahead.
Yes, and there are many past the tread.
Did I tell you that that's now my daughter's favorite lullaby?
Yes,
it's so good. It makes me so happy.
Amazing.
I love it.
Anyway, well, Dave, we teased that I did write a new poem. Should we end with that poem?
We usually end with words from a true poet, though.
We'll make an exception. We'll make an exception this time.
It's been published. I mean, that's actually...
Yeah. Curious, Dave, have you read them?
No.
Okay, good. I would not want it any other way. This one's called A Waking Thought. Here we go. I dreamed a nostalgic nightmare. The cool caress of a lover's hand, once so familiar, now distant and nearly forgotten, returned to me in my rest. I wake haunted by the memories this vivid vision has invited so rudely into this room, as my partner, my friend, my chosen companion lay asleep beside me. Why trouble my mind with such fantasies, dreamweaver, deceiver who seeds my thoughts with what ifs, what was, what could have been? As my waking mind begins to shake the dreary dreamlike state and return once more to the reality that is, I love this life, all that has come, all that is, and perhaps all that will be. But damn my dreams that break this bliss, causing my mind to wander, this restless wonder when I wake.
How many episodes have we done?
This will be like 72.
And this is the first time you've written something good?
Well,
I really like that.
Thank you.
That's really nice. You did a great job.
Yeah, well, honestly, the edits that came after starting this show, really improved this. I think
I'm sure.
I have learned a lot about what poetry is and what it can do.
Right.
So this would not have sounded or read like this had it not been for the guests that we have had on and the work that they have done. So,
Dear listeners, this is what happens when Aaron edits his poetry. When he realizes that maybe the thing that he accidentally sneezed onto a page could use some work.
this is most certainly true. Well, I won't bore you with the other poem. It's a lot longer. But this has been My Bad Poetry.
Now go write some of your own bad poetry that eventually gets edited and turns into a decent poem about real, honest emotions.
Or not. I mean, it's your life.
Or yeah, you can still just write bad poetry. Like, that's fine too.
You do you. Yeah.
That's kind of my MO.
I like your poems, Dave. Rhyme or free, doesn't matter.